All right, so let's start this broadcast by the story that we are tracking on WION, where the Iran-Israel ceasefire agreement, as outlined by the American President Donald Trump on social media, would see the two countries stop firing in staggered phases. Now, Iran and Israel have traded fire in the final moments leading up to the ceasefire deadline. Now, Trump, in fact, made the ceasefire announcement on social media, and the post came at about 10 p.m. GMT, Greenwich Mean Time, which is about 6 p.m. in Washington, D.C. Now, Trump said that the complete and the total cessation of hostilities will come into effect in approximately about 6 hours' time, setting a deadline of around 4 a.m. GMT. And according to Trump, the 6-hour window was for the state of Israel and Iran to wind down and to complete their in-progress final attacks. Now, Trump claimed that once the ceasefire takes effect, Iran will have to unilaterally halt all its operations, and Israel will also have to halt all its hostile operations and stop hostilities 12 hours later. And as per Trump, upon the 24th hour, the 12-day war will officially come to an end. This is what Trump tweeted out. Now, nearly 7 hours after his announcement, Trump in fact shared another post saying that the ceasefire is now in effect. The American president further added, "Please do not violate it." Now, the hours leading to the ceasefire deadline saw Iran and Israel trade fire. Iran fired at least about 6 missile barrages to the state of Israel. Now, air raid sirens rang out in northern Israel as the military worked to try and intercept the Iranian ballistic missiles. Now, the Israeli emergency services said that about 4 people were killed and 2 moderately wounded in an Iranian missile strike on Beersheba this morning. A series of powerful explosions rocked Tehran. Warplanes buzzed overhead as explosions shook the north and the center of the Iranian capital immediately after Donald Trump's announcement.
Despite the announcement of ceasefire,
the Iranian media announced that nuclear scientist Mohammad Reza Siddiqui was killed in an attack on an apartment in Tehran, and according to the ministry's announcement, Siddiqui was the head of the Security Research and Innovation Organization known as SPND. Now, the Israeli Air Force also shared footage of striking missile launches in western Iran. However, it is not clear whether these strikes took place before or after Trump's announcement. All right, now joining us in the broadcast, we've got Mr. Mohammad Najib, who's a journalist and a war correspondent and also a security analyst, is joining us live from Ramallah, the occupied Palestinian territories in the West Bank. Mr. Najib, thank you very much indeed for joining us here on WION. There is a very tenuous ceasefire that has been announced by the American President Donald Trump between the state of Israel and Iran. In your assessment, do you think this ceasefire can hold?
Yes, actually, after 12 days of the military confrontation between Iran and Israel, the first of kind that we witnessed during the last decades, the U.S. President Donald Trump declared a ceasefire, and later Israel and Iran said they are ready. If the others didn't violate the ceasefire, then they will respect it. But right now, there is no more details about the clauses of this agreement between Israel and Iran, which make it stable, and also, if it is just a 24-hour ceasefire, or it will be like a permanent ceasefire between Israel and Iran. So all the observers are watching what's happening at the moment.
Right.
And since this morning, right now, we witness stop of military operation between Israel and Iran on the ground, but still cautiously watching what's going to happen on the ground, and for more details from President Trump about this agreement.
Now, the Israelis started off this war with the Iranians with their Operation Rising Line. The objective was to denuclearize Iran, that is to strike down the Iranian nuclear program, and also to effect a regime change if they could. To what extent do you think the Israelis have achieved any amount of success in their objectives?
Look, every side, the Iranians and the Israelis, claims that they achieve victory. For the Israelis, they claim that they achieve victory. But what's happened right now, the Israelis neutralized the Iranian nuclear threat and didn't eliminate the nuclear program. they damaged the ballistic missiles in Iran and its capabilities to attack Israel and by drones or by ballistic missiles. But also they didn't manage and change the regime. And for the Iranians, they think they are succeed and they achieve victory by bombardment Israel or firing 500 rockets intercepted, most of them just 70 landed in Israel and caused a lot of damage inside Israel, and the photos show that how the damage that caused by the Iranian missiles that hit Israel during the past 12 days.
Right.
So the Iranians claim victory and the regime hasn't been changed, and the Israelis claim a victory from their side as they eliminated and neutralized the Iranian nuclear threat to Israel.
Right. Now, you're joining us from the occupied Palestinian territories of the West Bank. The hub of this conflict is what is happening in the Gaza Strip. Considering that there was a ceasefire that was announced unilaterally by President Donald Trump, did you expect the Iranians to tie in the issue of Gaza before any ceasefire could be agreed upon?
Actually, this is the question of the hour here among the Palestinians. I spoke this morning to some analysts and experts and people in Gaza, and they hoped that the Iranian included them in any ceasefire agreement to end the war in Gaza, because the Palestinians hope that Iran will support them since 7 October, and it didn't. And now when it's erupted its battle with Israel, so they hope that they will take in consideration. And during the past 12 days, Israel continued its military operation in Gaza, ignored any talks with Hamas through Egyptian and Qatari mediation to reach a ceasefire, and escalated that. So even the media and the world stopped talking about Gaza. All the focus was on the ongoing military confrontation between Israel and Iran. So the people of Gaza hoped that Iran take in consideration their issue and included in the agreement between Iran and Israel through US and Qatari mediation.
All right, we'll have to leave there. Thank you very much indeed, Mr. Najib, for joining us with that perspective there.
Thank you.